Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Psychology Unit 7, which is all about memory and cognition. There are 3 steps to making memories. The first step is encoding, which is when information is converted into a format that can be stored in the brain. It's also making connections and assigning meaning to the information. There are many different types of encoding. One of them is visual encoding, which is converting information into visual representations and mental images. And the second step is storage, which is retaining the encoded information over time, and the brain organizes and holds the information. And the last step is retrieval, which is the process of getting information out of the memory state. So, like when you're telling a story about a past event that happened, you're retrieving the information from storage. Processing and memory. Automatic processing is the unconscious encoding of incidental information. So, examples of this would be like everyday activities such as walking, reading, and typing. They require little conscious awareness. And then, effortful processing is encoding that requires attention and effort. An example would be like learning to play a new instrument or memorizing new vocabulary. They do require conscious attention. And then short term memory is memory that holds items briefly. An example would be when you're staying at a hotel and you're remembering your hotel room number while you're walking to your door. But once you go back from your trip, you're most likely not going to remember the hotel number. Long term memory is an almost permanent storage of the memory system. An example would be learning how to ride a bike. Sternberg's 5 components of creativity are expertise, which is the knowledge a person has in a specific field, imaginative thinking skills, which is having the ability to develop different perspectives and see problems in new ways, a venturesome personality, which is willing to take risks and overcome obstacles. Intrinsic motivation is being driven by the sense of satisfaction and interest, not by an external reward. And a creative environment. It is so important to surround yourself with an environment that sparks inspiration for new ideas and provides support. The brain. The hippocampus plays a crucial role in learning and memory. It is essential for converting short term memories into long term memories. Both sides of the hippocampus do different things, the left and the right side. So the left hippocampus processes verbal information, such as remembering a sequence of instructions that your teacher gives you. And then the right hippocampus processes visual information. So that would be like when you're playing the card matching game, the memory game, that's your right hippocampus being used because it's visual. These are people that studied memory. So the first one is Hermann Ebbinghaus. He studied forgetting. So for his experiment, he memorized long lists of nonsense syllables. And the results showed that learning is most effective when spaced out over time and not all at once. Terence R. Mitchell and Leigh Thompson, they invented rosy retrospection, which is that we remember past events in a more positive way. And we also have more optimistic memories of the past. And then Elizabeth Loftus, she showed that providing inaccurate information to one's memories can lead to the creation of false memories, and that memories are available to distortion. Memory, just some other terms. A flashbulb memory is a clear memory of an emotionally significant event. A pretty well known example is that everyone knows where they were when they found out about 9/11. Mood congruent memory is recalling memories that fit your current mood. So if you're in a happy mood, you're going to think of happy memories, and if you're in a sad mood, you're going to think of sad memories. Deja vu is reliving a memory. An example would be recognizing a stranger you feel like you know, even though you don't, or finding a sequence of events to be familiar or feeling like you've been in that situation before. Rehearsal is repeating information to move it from short term memory into long term memory. This would be like studying flashcards for a test so you can remember it better. Chunking is organizing items into familiar, manageable units. An example of this would be when we're giving somebody our phone number, we give them the first 3 digits and then the middle 3 digits, and then the last 4 digits instead of all 10 at once. Thinking, there are 2 types of thinking, convergent thinking and divergent thinking. Convergent thinking is the type of thinking that leads to one single correct answer. It's about making choices and picking the best option. So an example would be choosing what restaurant to eat at based on price, reviews, and cuisine. And then divergent thinking is the type of thinking that leads to multiple ideas and possibilities. And it's all about brainstorming. There's not really a correct answer. And an example would be like thinking of all the different ways to use a spoon. Some other key terms for this unit: the spacing effect is when information is retrieved better when it is studied over time instead of one large session. The serial position effect is that people tend to remember the first and last items in a list the best and the middle items the worst because the first and last items receive more attention. A concept is the mental grouping of similar events, people, ideas, and objects. A prototype is a mental image of the most typical example of a category. So when somebody imagines a dog, we all pretty much imagine not the same type of dog, but the same figure: a medium-sized animal with 4 legs, a tail, and fur. And then an algorithm is a step-by-step procedure that guarantees solving a problem. That's it for Unit 7. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe for more, and I'll have the Unit 8 video coming soon.